Hello, guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. My mic's gone weird. What's going on there? There we go. Hey, look, you can hear me now. Welcome to the show. I'm Alex Whiteley. We have a very good show for you today. We are speaking to our new mayoress. How are you, Elisabeth Roberts, mayor? How's that weird? Is that weird hearing yourself being called the mayor? It was settled in a bit.
Got used to it now.
Oh, hold on. Oh, I can't hear you. It's my fault. I forgot to turn the mic on. Yeah, so you're getting used to it, or?
Yeah, 5 weeks in now, and it's not just myself. It's my mini mare, and I've also got my 20-year-old twins. So we're covering all bases. I'm Elisabeth. I've got an S. So I'm not like the Queen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's easier to call me Elise. It's easier.
That's nice.
And I'm the mayor. I'm non-gender, which is fantastic for this role. So I can be a mayoress if I like, or I can be the mayor. So I chose the mayor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had to Google how to. Let's talk about. I did a live show yesterday because this isn't a new thing. I'm going to be doing a new live show every Wednesday. It's quite cool. So I was like, how do I address the mayoress? So I'm glad you covered that up.
Well, in person, if you were just to meet me, my title is Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor. Yeah. And the staff at Riggs Hall aren't allowed to call me by my first name in case they muck up if we're on in a meeting, because I chair the council's meetings as well.
Okay.
And they can't call me by my first name. So all previous mayors, like Phil Gillam, they call him occasionally. I think they've called him Phil, but it's normally Mayor because we all come out during certain ceremonies. So,
okay.
So we have past mayors.
So do you work with people that are like, oh, I'm mayor? Like,
yeah.
Your mates that are just like...
I have done now. Do you know who I am?
Do you not know who I am?
That's usually to my pupils.
That's usually how I meet people for the first time. Do you not? I'm joking. If you know me, that's a silly joke. But yeah, these interviews are always designed just to find out a bit about you, because like we talked about a while ago about the role of the mayor. What is the mayor? And somebody actually was talking with me about the biscuit, and they were like, "Oh, I really liked your interview with the mayor because I never know what a mayor sounded like." Yeah. And it's just like, well, they're just normal people. Yeah. Normal people. I'm a vertically challenged mayor in comparison to the rest of them. Previous mayors were around 5'11", 6 foot plus. I'm 5'2.5", so I've had to have my robe made for me this time, because otherwise I'd look a bit like the character on Big when he comes out. It'd be dragging on the floor. Ours, it's a really interesting role. It's historic, obviously. First mayor was around the 1600s. Some of the pieces of equipment that we have are very old. The sword is made in 1800s. We've got our own sword. I have a sword bearer to carry that. Wow. And the maces I've got 4 maces which are made out of silver gilded, and they're carried by 4 other people. So when we're fully robed up, it's to smack somebody over the head if they dare come over to me. Is that what that's for? Literally? Yeah. Wow, okay. It protects me and everything. I like history. I'm a bit of a history buff. And, me too. Yeah. It's very much a case of being. I'm seen as the first person of Shrewsbury. Yeah. So that's my other role. So wherever we go, if I'm representing Shrewsbury, I am that person, which is really nice when I go to other mayors' events. And we go all dress up with our chains, not so much robes, but it's to present ourselves to visitors, general public, and basically to chair the town council. So we have regular meetings with town council, which cover parts of carries the quarry, flora and fauna, the market, which is amazing. It's won loads of awards recently. Yeah. We were talking about that recently with Phil and with Stan. Yeah, it's brilliant. And all the lovely floral displays that you see around the town centre, and now going further out. Recently went up to the greenhouses that they've got up at Weeping Cross. It's amazing. And they actually produce their own, so they don't buy in. So they're creating, for instance, to reduce our carbon footprint within Shrewsbury, they're developing these seedling to go on the top of our bus stops. So that's a great idea. We've got 2. One's in Radbrook,
And it basically, through photosynthesis, which we should all know now, ecology. And
it's one of those words you pull out in school to sound clever. You know, the photosynthesis.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it reduces our carbon footprint, which is brilliant. You know, we can carry on forward. We declared a climate emergency, and we're being really proactive about it.
Yes, it's nice to see that, you know, people are trying to make an effort with that, because it seemed to be. I don't mean to get political. It's probably going to happen for this interview. I have no doubt about it. But as soon as the Trump era sort of came in. Everybody sort of took a step back, and it's weird to think that a president over in America can affect the way we do things, but it did. It really did, and it's nice to see that people are actually being proactive about it now.
We're really lucky for Town Council. All the different parties work really well together. They're very much supporting, pushing forward. You know, the greener aspect, bus services, trying to we wrote out a letter to County Council with regards to the bus service coming through Radbrook, because they were cutting off number 20, which is a lifeline to many of our constituents. We work really well together, which is great. So, and my role as mayor is non-political.
Yes.
So I'm there to celebrate what's absolutely amazing about Shrewsbury, and it's a pretty good place.
It must be nice to take a step back, you know, as a councillor yourself. It might be like, just a year off.
Well, no, I don't get a year off. I'm up there. I'm a town councillor for Halscott. Very proud of my constituency. Fantastic.
So you've got to continue in your day job whilst being the mayor, whilst not being political as the mayor. That must be difficult.
I have 3 roles now. So I work at the Priory School. 8:15 till 3, and then town council, and then mayor. So I'm chasing my tail quite a lot, which is great, because I'm an ADHD mayor. You know, I'm fully, you know, supportive of our neurodiverse population of Shrewsbury, Shropshire. That's how I got into this role in the first place. I can spin quite a few plates at the same time.
It must be nice for folks that are in a similar position, that they now have a voice and someone to speak to about that, because you know, politically, I mean, when you think of someone, you know, a politician, you think of a politician, don't you? You know, and so I'm sorry to say, sort of stereotype anybody that's going to listen to this is a politician that isn't like that, but that's what you think of. That's what I think of anyway. So speaking to like Phil, and speaking to Julian, and speaking to yourself, and realising, you know, there's actually just a very nice, relaxed, like, all councillors, but real people. I mean, and Julian was amazing, because he was like, for one of my events, I bought a suit from a charity shop, and I was like, that's just amazing just to hear that, you know.
I've done because our year, each mayor years are very different. We're here to shine a light on areas that we're very passionate about.
Yes.
Obviously, Julian's was environment, and you know, ours is about education, mental health, child mental health, and our more mature generation who are isolated, and there are different reasons for those. I got into politics because of my own children. I have amazing 20-year-old twins, girl, boy, both really struggled in education. My son especially, with his mental health. And that led me to set up a group supporting quite a few families in Shropshire that have got children that are neurodiverse, autistic, ADHD, PDA, pathological demand avoidance, that is, and any neurological condition that causes social isolation and as a barrier to education. So I advocated for families in it going into schools, and also for the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service. I've done quite a few sit-ins on their behalf, because they may well not have been able to access intervention quick enough when their children are going through mental health crisis, which then led on to me taking in children.
You use an interesting word there, with children with mental health crisis, because being a guy who works in support, and I don't want to speak as if I'm not some hero, because the guys that work during the day, and I work during the night, but the guys that work during the day are heroes. They do amazing work. But when you talk about diagnosis for someone under the age of 18, it is a battle, a huge battle.
Horrific. And you know, as a parent, you want the life that and the family environment and experiences that you've been told you're going to get. So when you come out and you can't go into shops, or your children aren't coping in education, my son went to WH Smith's they were about 8, my twins, and I asked him to choose a magazine, and that's the worst thing I should have done, because the fear of choosing the wrong one caused the frustration and anger to build and build. So he actually flattened W.H. Smith's in Shrewsbury Town Centre. So it looked like a Tasmanian devil had gone round it.
Yeah.
And I had to bear grip him to take him out. And you do get judgmental looks and stares.
Of course you do.
Because people don't understand. But as we've gone on, it's about educating the wider society. And I think that's going really well. You know, we do support, and I'm very proud to be part of that community. I got my diagnosis at 47. So, because going through my own children.
I suffer with social anxiety. I've mentioned it lots of times on the Biscuits. There's a few regular listeners eye rolling now, but I do. It's a strange thing to deal with when you're a guy that sits in front of a microphone, but it is a genuine thing. We just recorded the weather balloon going off at Colham, which was fantastic. Yeah, were you there?
Yeah. Martha goes.
Oh, well, fantastic. And I was just coming away from it with Timmy, and a lady stopped me, and I had my T-shirt on, and she was like, "Oh, is that the name of your TikTok audience?" And I just clammed up.
Yeah.
I just clammed up, and I'm just like, "Thank you." Yeah, it is. Oh, she's like, "Oh, yeah, and I follow you on TikTok." I'm like, "Thank you." You know, like, it's really weird how that happens. Yeah. Get in front of a microphone, I'll be like, "Yo, what's your name?" You know, it's just weird.
You're taken outside of your comfort zone.
It's a character. I am a character right now, and it's weird to think that, but that's just what it is. But it's nice that you're involved with something like this. And the reason why I brought up the whole diagnosis thing is you can relate to all this.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have someone, I say in power, but as a mayor, as a councillor, that someone can go to and bring up as a point.
I do, And
I bet you hear about it a lot, don't you?
I'm very passionate about it because, you know, that our children or young people have got very specific ways that they live their life, but they've also got amazing talents. Again, my own twins, my eldest, Erin, has danced with the English National Ballet, but amazing. Cannot have a conversation with you unless I'm stood with them. My son is amazing at mechanics, but can't go into a classroom because the fear of failure is just too much.
And a garage, I imagine. Oi, what's up, fella? You know, yeah.
Currently, he's not even doing that. I mean, his mental health has been volatile, to say the least. He has been through a lot in his short 20 years. And I've spent a lot of my time fighting for him, on behalf of him, and on occasions against him, because, you know, with mental health, he went through a phase of desperately trying to end his own life. And the first attempt at that was at 6, after diagnosis and statement and a legal expulsion from a primary school. So I've been fighting since then, and I did as much as I could on the periphery by I shall drop the name, Jigsaw Community, which we set up as a family and, you know, support. It's about and that's an amazing community. You know, we used to meet quite a lot, but I don't have time now. We do a lot of online support. Being
I say, like a victim of this, you know, mental health illnesses and the, you know, the issues that your son faces, or you know, but being proactive in a community against that sort of thing, do you think it helps? You know, to help others? Do you think it takes a focus away from things?
Yeah. Because as a parent, I know, you know, parents that have got a child that they've had to fight so much for, you feel really quite frustrated, and you want to help. You want to make that change. But you just don't know how. Yeah. No. So you become an expert in your own child, and in that process, you become an expert in supporting your child through mental health diagnosis, support, education, and society in general. So that's where I my day job, working at a mainstream school in Shrewsbury, supporting some of our most vulnerable pupils. So I'm using my experience with my own children, and I also did a part of Masters in Autism Strategies, to be able to support and give a voice to those pupils that have got amazing futures. They just need to get that.
It sounds like a symbiotic thing. You're learning whilst you're educating. That's quite cool.
Definitely. I mean, some of the pupils I've had, actually all of the pupils that I've helped and supported, they are amazing in their own right. You know, our kids have got, they've got a voice that needs to be heard, and because they're children, they're often seen as, no, you can't say that yet. You know, you've got to wait until you're a bit older. Well, actually, no. I think most of us that work in education don't ever grow up. and it's a really good excuse to behave and, you know, to be able to have that positive relationship with our young generation. And I'm also quite honoured to have that, because they trust me to be able to talk to me and for me to be able to support them. And it's, you know, it's something that I'm really passionate about, since my own children have gone through that. So I'm using their experiences as my own.
I think something clicks inside your head when you realise that. I'm like, okay, so to put this into context, right? I had a bit of a road rage incident on the way up here. Some guy was blocking up the road, and as I drove past, I was like, "What are you doing?" As I drove past, right, I shouted at him. I felt terrible about it, but as I got down the road, I felt guilty for shouting at that person, right? Because in my eyes, he's got his own life, his own family that he'll go home to, and I've probably just made that a little bit worse by shouting at him. You walk past a bus that's driving past, every single person sat on that bus, it's their own individual life. When you realise that everyone is it seems like it's a really simple concept, but it's really not. When you realise everyone has their own individual lives, feelings, and that's everybody, something clicks, and it changes the way you speak to people. And it sounds like like I said, it sounds like a strange thing to talk about, but when, you know, working support, working with kids in school, and working with someone that's got autism or disability or mental health issues, it changes the way compassion works. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah, what I'm trying to say.
And I think the pandemic has also done that, because supporting each other. We set up the COVID mutual aid group that was delivering for 18 months, 6 days a week, to our most vulnerable, those that couldn't come out, get their shopping. So we'd set up a link between them and Co-op. I'm not dropping any names there, but that's who I set it up with. So they could order their food, I'd go and collect it, or it's any of our other volunteers, drop it off, but then we'd have that 10-minute conversation on the doorstep, because they weren't able to see family. And that's the elderly isolation, which is what we've linked into our year, because there were so many that were, and being able to be given that honour of being able to chat to them and their isolation. So you're not seeing those people. They're stuck behind their doors, but they're there. As you said, on the bus, they're there, but you don't, you know, you're not actually looking at how they're coping with their day. Whereas once we got to deliver and they opened the door, you could see really well where they weren't or were coping with their day, being on their own. So, for our year, it is about pulling our communities back together again, the way that we were at the beginning of the pandemic.
And there were so many people that did amazing things during the pandemic. A big shout out to a group that I follow, because they're just lovely people in there. Shrewsbury People Helping One Another. Yes. SBHOA. Yeah. That's a group I'm part of, because the guys that run that are really nice. Yeah. And another example of, does anybody need anything from a shop? Yeah. There was the during the pandemic, there was the baby milk thing. People were panic buying baby milk. Yeah. And so, like, when people saw stuff, they'd be like, this sort of stuff here, you know. It was good to see. And yeah, you're right about rebuilding things, and, you know, coming back out into the big bad world has been a huge issue for a lot of people. And actually, you know, talking about elderly isolation, I did an interview with Tom from Amiga, and I mentioned that we were doing this, and he had nothing but nice things to say about you, actually.
Amiga's one of my charities that I'm taking for the year, because Louise's letters that they do and the rest of it has just been such a support during the pandemic. I was introduced to them initially as deputy mayor, and I went to go and do a raffle thing with them at their offices. And little did I know, two of the people that run it, their children come to Priory, and I already knew them. But then finding out a lot more about them, they diversified so much to support the community. I thought, well, what we did, we're going to pull them along. I also took on my own constituents group, which is Harlescott Grange Community Hub, who have been amazing through this whole situation.
Anything that helps people get by. I think, you know, there's so many great initiatives in Shrewsbury that are, you know, grassroots, started independently. You know, for example, Angelica Barr from Shropshire Epilepsy Support, amazing. Grassroots again, doing great things and helping her community. I'm always a big fan of things like this, and so it's good to see that you're using that to, you know, springboard things like Amiga. Amiga were great. I met them at the weekend at the Bellevue Arts Festival, open it, and within a few days we're doing an interview together, because I love that sort of thing. You know, I love to hear about stuff like that. being a mayor in waiting during Julian's sort of term as a mayor.
Office, yeah.
What was that like watching Julian? Because he did some great things while he was mayor.
Yeah.
Were you like, oh my God, how am I going to follow this guy?
Well, watching him cycle down the road wearing his mayoral chains, that was something.
He turned up to Pod Aid on bike. We were in the stadium.
Yeah. We're not allowed to do that, but it's Julian, so yeah, he did it. We're all very different, I think, which is really good, is that we can all stamp our personality on that, even though we are the role of the civic role. So the civic role originally was very much Christian-based. Uh-huh. He didn't do anything that was related to religion. So they were the areas that I jumped into. So that's where you get your practice as deputy mayor. So current deputy mayor is Becky Wall, and she jumps into stuff that I'm either unable to do or I'm too tired, because you have so much to do. But it's a really good experience. It's a good traineeship. But yeah, he's covered the environment really well. So I take a little bit of that. And
did he inspire you in any ways to go forward with your role?
Yeah, he is more laid back than a sofa.
He is. That's great. That is.
So I thought I would become, I'd do the chilled bit, and I like talking to people generally. My kids got fed up with me talking to them in the first part of the pandemic. And that was one of the reasons why I set up.
Martha sat here; she's nodding.
That's why I set up the mutual aid group, because I could go and chat to other people. So I like being out and talking to the kids. As I said before, I'm a big child myself, really. So it's nice to be able to see people and their smiles. I went to the Bellevue Arts Festival as well, and it was brilliant.
Nice,
it was lovely to see people out. And
I couldn't go to the open gardens. I felt really bad about that. But it was Father's Day, and my wife was like, "But it's Father's Day." I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Let's do something there. We'll do something with Timmy. We did some food. So we couldn't go to that. But yeah, it was nice to see the people out in the community. Just to get a taste of that, is just to see that is what's going on is really important to me. And I guess a year for you as deputy mayor, doing little bits, is kind of nice for you, having the kids with autism, mental health issues, to break them in gently rather than throw them into the deep end. Did you appreciate it that way, or was it hard still?
No. I'm as I said, I'm an adult with ADHD. I can quite happly jump in both feet and not bother. I then think about it about.
Where am I?
5 weeks later, I think, oh my God, I did that. So actually, it was good that I didn't overthink it. Our first week as mayor, I went down to go and decommission our submarine. Did you know that Shrewsbury's got a submarine?
I didn't know that.
No. HMS Talent. It's affiliated to Shrewsbury. So
wow.
The submariners come up on a regular basis. They raise money for Hope House. They also come to old people's homes and help dig over borders. They help line our public areas with bark. So I went down there, took my son, who's, as I said, he's massively interested in mechanics. We had a look around the submarine.
Where is it based again?
Plymouth. It's dry docked.
Okay. I was just sitting there in the quarry somewhere.
No, they are tempted to bring like a little paddle boat up with a
a
thingy just to have a laugh, because they appreciate the comic value of this. But yeah, so we went around the submarine, met Princess Royal, who had a good chat to my son, and funnily enough, the couple of the admirals that were there understand autism really well, having had children and relatives themselves. Yeah. So I was able to say, ask about whether they have submariners that come in are autistic, and they do. That's one of the only part of our forces that do take in our individual. Well,
if anything, you need someone that's super focused on a submarine. So that's that.
That's it. So yeah, exactly.
You sit there and watch those dials. Okay.
Yeah. So I have put our names down for the next one that's being built in Barrow-in-Furness, because the connection is brilliant. We're a landlocked county, so we're obviously not needing a submarine or a boat, but it's really good that we have that connection. And in their submarine, they have our coat of arms. They have the connection certificate that states that they can come to Shrewsbury. So later on in the year, they are going to be handing their rights back to walk through Shrewsbury with sheep. And their rights to come up here, but then hopefully our names are down for another one.
if I'm ever down Plymouth, I want to check out this submarine. I want to see it.
Yeah,
put some cameras down.
Good look. I've got some photographs I can just send them to you.
Absolutely, that'd be fantastic. And we get in touch with them guys and be like, expect a visit from the Shrewsbury Biscuit.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the most? Obviously, like I said, you're only 5 weeks in. What's the most exciting thing for you?
I moved up to Shropshire 30 years ago.
Yeah.
From Dorset. So, yeah, I think, and speaking to lots of people so far, Shrewsbury tends to be a place where you're either born in, obviously, or there are a lot of people that migrate here for jobs and then stay. Not many people leave.
We were talking about this. We did a great interview with Andy Dawson from Knockdeaton and Stan Sedman and Phil Gillam. Yeah. And we were talking, that's one of the things we were talking about, is like what makes Shrewsbury so desirable, you know?
People move in and, you know, I think the fact that there are lots of historical buildings. I come from Bournemouth and around Dorset, there's a lot of black and white buildings, so it's like home from home. Yeah. But people are friendlier here. I moved up here to manage a stud farm, believe it or not, horses. And I went into a shop and the person behind the counter spoke to me. And if you do that down south, they think you've either nicked something or you've run away from something. So I said, I haven't got anything. And they said, no, what? Hello, you know, good morning type thing. So people are a lot friendlier here as well. So, yeah, it's people move in and I've been quite well adopted by the town. I don't sound from Shrewsbury, though. I've still got a bit of my Dorset accent. I've
kind of moved around all sorts of places. I don't know what my accent even is anymore. I don't hear anything in my accent. It's just a plain voice. It's one of the things that really struck me, because I was umming and ahhing about the Shrewsbury Biscuit for a while before I'd started it. And I was like, would this even work? And I was walking across Greyfriars Bridge, and there was a couple of students behind me. They stopped, turned, took a picture, and they're like, oh my God, that's beautiful. And I was like, these are kids. What? Okay, we're doing this. Absolutely doing this. If kids are going to stop on Greyfriars Bridge, take a picture, and appreciate where they are, this is going to have... People are proud here.
They are, yeah. I'm really proud to have been... to represent Shrewsbury, be able to talk to our communities. We went to the recent International Children's Festival, which was held in Monkmoor, near the playing field. It was brilliant. It was really nice. We had children from Ukraine, from Syria, from all sorts of areas, and they are really proud to be here. With the events that are currently going on in Ukraine, it's really nice to be able to give them a safe haven. Yeah. But to be able to, to celebrate what is Shrewsbury, and we are very unique. We have the longest row of shops that aren't, part of a chain.
Yeah, independent. Wild Cup.
Yeah. So, and it's really unique. I love it. It's
obviously, I do a lot of shows in America. There's a radio station in Manchester, New Hampshire in America. I go on regularly as the kind of the British correspondent, I guess. And I always love coming on the show and be like, yeah, it's the birthplace of Charles Darwin. And people are like, oh, right, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've got him on my wall. It's just over there. Gary Drew. I love that. I love that I live here. I mean, it was years. We were talking about coming to Shrewsbury for years before we did. We were in Telford at the time. I was like, it's just a nicer town. The schools will be nicer, And we moved here. And it's the best thing we ever did, So I'm very, very happy about it. What do you think? Obviously, you being a councillor, you're now the mayor. You kind of know what to expect, I guess, with going around. But what challenges do you think you're going to face as a mayor as opposed to a councillor?
I think as a councillor, there is more expected of you.
Yeah.
Because, things go on and whether they be positive or negative. And
you can never say anything positive on social media anymore. You say something and it's always an argument. What we do.
But I try to do the positive side. We try and celebrate what is really good about things. Town council, our county council as well. I'm not a county councillor because they got my name wrong, but town council. There is a lot more expected of you. Mayor is about being that representative. So I obviously can't swear in public. Yeah. I've got to keep my temper. I don't really have much of a temper.
Is there like a list of rules?
Yeah, there's a mayor handbook.
Really?
Yeah.
Thou shalt not swear.
Yeah. Thou shalt not wear your chains anywhere other than where you're supposed to. Shrewsbury has 3 sets of chains, which is great.
Yeah, Phil told us there's a thin set and a heavy set.
Yeah. The daytime set that I wear quite a lot has also got a nice big nugget of Charles Darwin on the back.
Really?
They're really celebratory of our young man in situ by the library. They're as my role as mayor, I'm really proud to do it. It's also very ceremonial. So we went for mayor making, which was at the Shrewsbury, the Seven Theatre, and when you get gowned up, full robes. So I wore my brand new red robe, which had to be made specifically, as I said. It is so hot, really, really hot.
A day like today, which has, it's about to rain now, but it's been scorching today.
It was pretty much this heat actually on our mayor making. I was killing. Yeah. But then you've also got a thing called a gabba that goes around your neck, and it's a big frill at the front. You've got arm sleeves with frills around the wrist. You've got gloves. You've got a tricorn hat. And then after you've done the ceremony, you then have to take a drink out of this blessing cup. I'm teetotal, so I had ice water, but there are others that I know. Helen Ball, town clerk, name drop. She is known to put lots and lots of spirits in, so you're plastered by the end of it. So you have to take this drink out this huge tankard. It is so difficult not to get it up your nose or down your chin, or so you got that to deal with. And then when we had the mayor blessing at St Chad's. There's lots of ceremonial stuff there as well. So, as I said before, it's Christian-based civic thing, but us as a family, we try and follow a Buddhist path. So we're kind and we try and help other people. That's my role. But the event, I had to kneel down in front of the pulpit with this sword, which weighs an absolute ton, on the ends of my fingers, and promise that I would be the perfect role model for the constituents of Shrewsbury, and that I would represent them with my whole being and all the rest of it. It's the ceremonial part of it. You think, I never thought I'd ever do this. This is something that I couldn't have dreamed about. And then I say to people, I'm going to go down and see my submarine. I never thought I'd actually get the chance to say that. It's just so out of this world, but amazing.
Do you have a lot of say in the ceremonies that you can go to, the events and things? Or there's certain things that you're expected to go and see, like the flower show? The mayor's always got to be at the flower show, apparently. Yeah.
I'm sent invites, so every day I have to check my diary to see and accept whichever I'd like to do. As I said, I've been to see the submarine and all sorts of other bits and pieces. There are things that perhaps I can't do too many of, which are things that are due in the daytime, because the school wouldn't like it if I keep lopping off. So Becky will do those. My favourite one so far has been at TMBSS, which is the Teaching Medical Behavioural Support Service, which I am also the SEND governor for. My son went through that service. It's amazing. And I'd have been sent an official invite by the primary school part that was in between Sevendale and Wilfred Owen School, that they wanted me to go to their Jubilee party or tea party. And I arrived in my full regalia to two 5-year-olds and a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old boys that were in this unit, and they'd made me biscuits, and there were princess ones and crown ones, and they'd iced them all, and they'd made tiny little triangle cheese sandwiches. And the teachers were amazing. They'd got a really posh teapot and filled it full of lemonade, and we were doing chins,
Yeah.
Oh, it was, and they'd thought of questions to ask me, and it was just amazing. It was heart melting, I felt really honoured to be welcomed by these fantastic kids that, as I said, they have a bit of a barrier to learning, but when you see them in this provision, they are an absolute delight. They've got manners amazing. They're dying to learn. They just can't do it in the large environment.
It's so nice to see that within 5 weeks of you doing this, you've already been inspired by members of the public, which is nice. Yeah. It's really nice. This is where you get a lot from. Speaking to mayors in the past, it's you get surprised at the most the areas you least expect. Which is nice.
I've met some amazing people already. A Paralympian who's been in the last 2 Paralympics, rugby. Wheelchair rugby. He's got...
That looks insane, wheelchair rugby.
Wow. Jim Roberts, his name is, and he was at the Welsh Pool Civic party that you get invited to the other mayor's events, and they're all very different as well. And he was telling me about his wheelchair expeditions, in rugby. It's amazing. And then the chap that came to my mayoral blessing at St Chad's, he had stopped the planning and development of a Peugeot garage and other buildings on the area around Shrewsbury Battlefield. So him alone, I think he's about 97, this young man, and he's getting an MBE in January, he told me. He's written a book. He was, honestly, the people that you meet are just fantastic, and it's just nice to take that in and think, wow, I've met so many amazing people.
I think the mayor role is such a brave role. It really is it really is, because all eyes are on you when you turn up at events. Oh my God, it's the mayor. I always think of that Ben Affleck picture where he's having a cigarette and I was like just blowing out the smoke. That's like a meme that's shared around the world now. He probably regrets that picture so much, but he's probably got just as much fame from that meme as he has from playing his role in Batman and all those other amazing roles. But it just takes that one snapshot, that one picture of him standing there having a cigarette, and that's it, blown all around the world. With the mayor, like you said, you can't swear, you can't do this, you can't do that, but you be like around the corner, be like, oh, it's okay, I can just let loose, take the hat off, or whatever it is, and then somebody be like,
well, no, I can get away with this, I think, because there is a really good meme, and it says, live your day like a 4-year-old in a Batman t-shirt. I do that every day, so whatever comes out, I'm not bothered. So
I like that.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. It's general life, so it's we're along for the ride and enjoying it.
I think sometimes you just got to learn to just have fun, because the Shrewsbury Biscuits are a lot more sophisticated to the debauchery I get up to with the other podcasts. It's all the swearing and drinking and stuff. I like to wear 2 different caps. Well, yesterday I struck up the live. Which, by the way, guys, it's going to every Wednesday at 6:00. We're now doing a live show on Facebook. I liked it. I really did. I don't usually like sitting and just talking to myself. It's just an odd thing for me. But I thought I'm just going to be like, I'll wear my photos. I'll just be normal, natural, organic, and free and stuff. And I really enjoyed that. It's nice to just be able to let loose.
Yeah, definitely. It's to chill. I mean, we as a family have gone through quite a tumultuous last 2 years. Actually before then as well, but and it's now got to a point where you think you may as well live life. You only do it once. We're going to try not to get so stressed about it. Chill out and enjoy it.
I think I'm got a lot better at that. Definitely got a lot better at that, because like with last year, sort of Pod Aid, when I was planning Pod Aid last year and stuff, there was very similar to what it is now. There's festivals, there's events, and last year was like the uncoiling of the spring, so there's so much going on that I was really stressing myself about it. I can't do this and I can't do that. And then it was actually Eric Fluger, very famous artist in America, good friend of mine, one of my peers, who's like, Alex, whether you like it or not, you are a leader. And I was like, okay, so no matter what happens, doesn't matter what happens, it'll happen. Relax, have fun. That really helped me out an awful lot. It was a slap on the face, but a good bit of advice as well. When you take on the role of the mayor from the mayor, did Julian give you any advice that you can see on a microphone?
He just said go for it, and it was him and Phil Gillam. Phil,
nice chap,
lovely, really lovely, and he basically said, that he knows that I'd enjoy it. Just go for it, enjoy every minute, and that's exactly what you should do, because there are so many different things, as I said, that you really aren't expecting, but to go along with it for the ride of it, and I've enjoyed the whole lot so far. People, I haven't had any negativity. It's all been really positive. We do get a bit of a funding, but what's been really good for that is that you can use your role as a positive thing.
Yeah.
And watching Julian and Phil, they both did that. Julian by highlighting the environmental aspect, and he was wanting to do things like a dance, but unfortunately he didn't with the pandemic and everything. His was quite squished as a year, but I think he did a lot, bearing in mind what was put on him with he didn't have any control of it.
He's actually one of the most inspirational. I've got the pictures on my laptop. Thank you to Phil Morris for taking these pictures that we did when the Ukraine marches through the town, and he was there right at the front. And Oksana, if you're going to listen to this, I spoke to Oksana and I wanted to arrange an interview with the Ukrainian community and with Amanda Jones as well from Shropshire Supports Refugees, and talk about the last year that they've had, or the last few months they've had, of what they've been up to and the challenges and the good things. We haven't got around to planning it yet, but it's coming. That's coming. But yeah, seeing Julian at the front of all them people, rallying people on to do good things and to be good people, and I was just like, this is a guy that's swimming upstream here. He's Green Party fighting for the environment when people are telling him, well, did you drive your own car? All these stupid things. The horrible comments we've heard about the Ukraine war. All the stuff that's going on, and he's there front and centre. I'm proud to be there, and that was just really inspiring to see.
We went along with it, didn't we, Martha? We were stood at the front as deputy, and I promised that we would continue that. After the flower show, we're going to have a tea party, a welcoming party, which is a tradition that was dropped a while ago, but I'm now restarting it, where we have a tea party welcoming people that are moving into the town. And we've had quite a few Ukrainian refugees and Syrian.
I'd love to get involved with that.
Variety, So we're going to do that after the flower show, and put on a spread and welcome them. And, anybody that, I'm a refugee from down south, I suppose, but nowhere near, the Ukrainian group and Syrians, that they're moving here because it's a place of safety, and they're very passionate about wanting to return when they can. We used to, as a family, we used to host children from Belarus, which is just above Ukraine, that were affected by Chernobyl disaster. And when we had the children over for a month, a year, over a 6-year period, they were very passionate about their own country. And, one lad that we had that had a physical disability, because of the radiation caused by Chernobyl, he was coming over to ours to learn English so that he could possibly do radio telephone sales, because they're still quite negative about physical disabilities. But he wouldn't learn English. He said, "Yani panimayo," which means I don't understand, and he wouldn't learn English. So I would have to learn. I learned Russian, which I don't have very much of left now in my brain, because he wouldn't. He was so passionate about where he comes from, and I think we have seen that in the news, coming across, that they're going to fight tooth and nail to keep their country as Ukraine and not part of an annex of Russian state.
And this is the point. The comments on Facebook, I'm starting to really struggle with at the moment, and I'm kind of having to force myself to stay away, because it's just, like I said, you can't put anything. You can be like, oh, the sky is blue, and somebody will find an argument for it.
It's green.
Do you know what I mean? And some of the comments, and it's like, well, you just imagine being torn away from country you don't want to leave. That is the point there. That is the most important point. They're taking the families to a foreign country with people that don't want them there in a weird, horrible way. I mean, of course, there are people that do want them here, and we do. But that's what they're seeing on social media, is those comments. We do want you here. We do want you to help. But that's what they're faced with, and it's horrible. So I do want to arrange that interview so we can put a few things straight. Amanda is amazing at that. She's a warrior.
Come across, where our paths have crossed many times. She's an amazing lady. But I just want to say, it's only through sheer luck of where we're born. So at any point, we could have been born in Africa. We could have been born anywhere on this planet. It's just through sheer luck on where you are born. So and who you're born to. I spent my entire childhood in care, so I could have been born to a very wealthy family, but I wasn't. And moving up here, I moved up to Shropshire on my own, and it's by being headstrong and doing that. People coming over here from Ukraine, they are desperately trying to save their families. People coming from Syria, anywhere else, it's that preservation and trying to keep themselves safe, and that's what we all have somewhere. So that's where hopefully our communities can pull together and support each other as human beings.
It's good that you've got that connection with the refugees, and I hope this doesn't sound offensive to you, but being in care, finding somewhere where you belong, somewhere home, finding home, and I've seen that battle before. I probably shouldn't be saying stuff like that with where I work, but I've seen that battle before, and it is hard. But do you feel like it's nice to be in Shrewsbury? Do you feel like you belong here?
Yeah. People. that's the bit that I haven't got used to, actually, as being mayor. People are smiling at me and I'm thinking, are they smiling at me because of being town councillor? Are they smiling at me because I've
got toilet paper on my shoe?
Yeah, I've got paper on my shoe. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, I have to, it clicks back, oh yes, I am mayor. So then I'll smile. But I'm automatically doing that now. It's actually one of a really cool Buddhist practice. And this might help you in the next time you're on your car journey, is as you're driving along, breathe in and think calm. And as you breathe out, physically do a smile, and you won't believe the amount of people that smile back at you. And it's a real positive feedback.
Okay.
So do that next time you get the traffic lights.
I don't know, I might look like Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker.
Wow. No laughing involved, just a big smile.
Okay.
And see how it works. To start off, we think, I feel all right, Pratt, doing this. But actually, a couple of goes and you think, they just smiled at me. And, you might have had a positive impact on somebody else's day that might have been a bit pants if they hadn't spotted you.
I had to have a conversation with Timmy afterwards because he was in the car with me. I was like, I'm very, very sorry you saw that. I feel really bad about it. I do. Like when I'm very rarely rude to anybody. I'm a nice guy. I just relaxed, chilled out. But that was a very rare moment of me getting a little bit hot-headed, literally, because it was boiling as well.
Yeah.
So I felt bad afterwards, and I think that's the difference between being an a-hole, we can say, and not being that. Is that you feel that remorse straight away, I guess. Yeah. Well, you know what? I think I'm so glad that we met. And I'm sure our paths will cross.
Definitely.
Because we do cover a lot of events. And if you see me with a microphone, come say hello.
I shall.
And
I might say hello as well.
Yeah. I hope you have the best time with it, because it's the mayor. It does look like a scary role. Like I said, the whole Ben Affleck thing, being caught off guard, that does scare me. But at the same time, you're welcomed everywhere. It'd be a nice year for you, I imagine.
You get loads of cake. That's why I take my children with me, because they can eat it.
Does it come with a subscription at the gym?
Well, actually, that was one thing that both Phil and Julian did say, is that you'll put at least 2 stone on. Well, luckily enough, I'm still losing the weight at the moment. Actually, I was supposed to be doing the London Marathon in October. Whether that happens or not, it might be April, because I've got a bit of a pull in my back at the minute.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm doing that for the House Grange Community Hub. So if anybody wants to sponsor me, let me know. And it's to help, because the Harlescott Grange Community Hub, which was the Eileen Sanford Centre on Kynaston Road, was really badly damaged. And some of the ladies, Leanne, Naomi and Amy, have pulled the place with a bit of my help up, and also Helena Dainty from the Youth Services have pulled that place up from the burning wrecks that it was into a functioning building that now has groups coming in, boxing, and it would be good to have some addiction services in there and other support services to support the community that have previously, prior to my town council role, have not had so much of a support. But I'm very proud to be able to shove them to the forefront.
Well, with everything that you're working on, with the charities that you are supporting, with the things you're working with the council as well, I feel like I've never really sort of stepped, like me and the Shrewsbury Town Council. I don't even know if the Town Council are aware of who I am, but I just sort of break the ice a little bit. And anything you need to help out with the biscuit, just please get in touch, because we'll be very happy to help. Like I said, we will see each other at events. And speaking of sponsorships, I do need to mention Pod Aid that we're going to be doing. I did invite you.
Yes, I'll definitely come along. Yeah,
that'd be great.
As I said, I have had quite a lot of invites, but yeah, definitely more than happy.
It's a lot of fun. Julian, like I said, Julian came on his bike last time. He had his high vis on. He sat down. We had a chat. It's very relaxed in front of the camera, live and stuff. It's very good, and we look great. Next week I'm going to Retty, the room that we're going to be using. Apparently it's quite a big room. I'd love to stay. I was on the phone to them today. They very nicely offered us a room there. Worth mentioning as well, Shrewsbury Town and the community, which are now Shrewsbury Foundation, they would have given us the room that we had last year, but they sold that unit. It's gone now at the side of the stadium. They offered us a room in the stadium, but it's small. So they were like, we don't think you'll be able to get there, and there's time constraints. So thank you so much to Shrewsbury Foundations. We still love you guys. But I'd love to stay. Yeah, we're going to be there. We have Charles Denscombe and Heather are amazing at micro videos. They're absolute legends in the community, and they've offered us cameras again. So we're going to look great in front of the camera. And we're also selling our time slots for sponsorship. Advertisement is available. We've sold a few already. Thank you to everybody. I don't want to mention the sponsors yet because we need to get all that in place. But we have sold some. There are loads for sale. They are £100 for an hour. But for that £100, you'll get your logo on the screen, visible for everybody around the world that's watching. And we'll give you hey, this hour is brought to you by, and then we'll talk about your company. Give us a brief on what you want to talk about. It's great for people around the world to see your company supporting a great charity like Lincoln Davis. Last year, we raised over £3,000 just in donations alone. We sold a few sponsor slots, but I want to sell them all. Yeah. And we've got 24 to sell. So if you do want to buy one, please get in touch. It's very important to us. Pod Aid is going to be from 9 a.m. on the 29th of September till 9 a.m. on the 30th. It's a 24-hour live podcast in front of the world. It's going to be amazing. We've got great guests that we can announce with sponsors in reach. Thank you very much for them, guys. It's going to be great. So that's my spiel about Pod Aid. If you want to get involved, get in touch. Thank you so much for chatting to me today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll cross paths again. And I hope you have a great... Thank you, Martha, for being so patient. You've been fantastic there.
Macaton signed it back.
Yeah. And we'll catch you guys next time. Thank you for listening to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Peace out, guys.
Welcome to the Wheel of Thunder.
Yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. I'm going to leave it in, though, just to show you that even people like me can make mistakes. That's from Inglourious Basterds. That's a game that we play. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Peace out.